From the mouth of the Zolota Lypa River to the mouth of the Zbruch River, the Dniester River in western Ukraine is with no doubt beyond comparison. Flowing along the high banks for hundreds of kilometers, the river carries its waters into an amazingly beautiful canyon, which rightfully considered one of the 7 wonders of Ukraine, with the aim of preserving the unique nature and historical monuments of the Dniester Canyon. In 2010, a national nature reserve park with the same name was created. Its area is more than 10,000 hectares. The canyon formed over many thousands of years, when the ancient Dniester was making its way to the Black Sea. Washing the valley, the river took turns crashing into the layers of ancient rocks and skirting the obstacles, thus creating picturesque meanders. The canyon walls, which are 120 meters high, created a very particular microclimate. There's almost no rain in the summer here, and spring comes a month earlier. This is the secret of a comfortable habitat for a large number of species of rare plants, animals, and birds. On the slopes of the canyon, there are more than 60 types of unique specimens of vegetation. This is also a truly natural habitat for 11 species of animals protected by the Berne Convention. Special features of this park are the scenic ruins of medieval castles, travertine scales with hollows and grottos, and more than 3 dozen waterfalls with their breathtaking cascades. In addition to that, the green valleys of the canyon fall asleep to the beautiful murmurs of the Chervonohrad waterfall, which is considered to be the largest in Ukraine. The most powerful waterfall in Ukraine. It is 16 meters high, though expert geologists discovered that it is in fact artificial. Rapid streams of water cascade down the rocks with a thundering cacophony. The sound immediately gives away the location of the waterfall from hundreds of meters away. The cool and refreshing splashes of water on the human body in the scorching summer heat give incomparable pleasure. Our territory is popular among tourists from other regions of Ukraine and those from abroad. Indeed, in recent years, it has become quite common to hear the French, German, Polish, and English being spoken near the Chervonohrad waterfall. This once again confirms that the flow of tourists to Ukraine is constantly on the rise. The grace of these places is attractive not only for people. There are several species of birds that fly in the forests surrounding this waterfall. For example, the so-called dipper is by no means a local bird. Its natural habitat is the Carpathian Mountains, but this wide-throated beauty is quite comfortable flying to a place that is 100 kilometers away from its indigenous habitat. Cascades of spring water falls on red stone. There is a massive rock here, and the earth truly has a reddish hue. Thanks to such a feature, the local settlement was called Chervonohrad, which in translation into English means red town. Founded many centuries ago, this small town is not to be found on any modern-day map of Ukraine. Here was the town of Chervonohrad. Unfortunately, in 1970, it disappeared from the map of Ukraine as an administrative unit, as there was not a single resident here.
Это связано было с тем, что здесь уже не было ни одного жителя.
But in this region, the exfoliations of red sandstone remain. Studying the outcropping parts of the mountainside, scientists found the imprints of fish remains from the Devonian period. Today, the evidence of prehistoric inhabitants found can be seen not only in museums of Ukraine. Such unique finds can literally be discovered right under your feet. For example, all one must do is look with a scrupulous eye at the red stones that are hidden in the decor of the artificially created landscape. These mountainous rocks were formed in the details of local rivers 405 to 400 million years ago, that is, in the early Devonian period. They're called rotten rock, or old red sandstone, and back in those times, they were distributed all over the Laurasia continent, which existed in the middle of the Silurian period. Back in that period, the remains of armored fish were accumulated in these rocks. Our team found remains of this fish exactly in this place. The red color of the sandstone is explained by the content of copper in the composition of the rock. Due to this shade, this stone is often used for various decorative purposes. In this case, it is used to create an artificial landscape. Although very often, rotten rock is used in facades of houses as it gives them an aesthetic appearance, and the walls are fortified as they are well protected from erosion. On this sandstone, the shield of another similar armored fish is very strongly marked. Most likely these are representatives of the genus Podolaspis. The armor provided the ancient fish with protection from predators, but it did not allow them to swim. After adapting, these fish crawled along the bottom of the sea. Later, this feature was manifested in the first terrestrial vertebrates.
Якщо добре уважно продивитися,
If you look closely at other stones, you can see other fragments of these fish, but these will be basically some separate bones. Though admittedly, such intact specimens are extremely rare. I can say with great confidence that in this case we're dealing strictly with museum exhibits, which were accidentally imprinted on this landscape. As they say, miracles are just around the corner, so it is worth paying a visit to the Ternopil Oblast to get good impressions. It's only a stone's throw away. It's worth to come here at least once to see everything with your own eyes, take a hike to the waterfall along the red dirt trail, and enjoy its amazing natural beauty. It is hard to imagine, but this great cascade is the creation of human hands. According to one version, the waterfall was built based on the project of an Italian architect. Possibly the riverbed was changed during the construction of the Poninsky Palace in the 18th century. In another version, the appearance of the cascade was preceded by a dramatic story. As legend has it, the Zbruch River skirted the Chervonohrad stronghold in a large closed loop, strengthening its limits and making it unassailable. In 1672, Mehmed IV, once again besieging the fortress, resorted to a rather clever trick. After being driven out, the Turks came here again in 1672 and destroyed the structure again. However, the siege was very long, as the Jurine flowed around the building, which prevented its rapid siege. People held out as long as there was a water barrier and food. But it so happened that Turkish Sultan Mehmed IV assigned his Ottoman soldiers to cut a layer in the rocks and redirect the river. Only then were they able to siege this building, which completely destroyed. Destroying the stone ridge, the Turks changed the direction of the river so that it would flow past the castle. A new waterway formed a waterfall, and the way to the citadel was opened up to the enemy. Legend has it that the last defenders went into the woods through a system of tunnels, but that was only after Mehmed IV redirected the river to another waterway and when they ran out of food. If you go to the Church of the Virgin Mary, you'll see the starting point of those tunnels. They're littered, and it's not clear exactly where they lead, but they went through these woods to the left. This is only one of the pages of the heroic past of one of the most mysterious castles in Ukraine. Today, on the site of the once grandiose structure, there are two elegant towers with a toothy crown. From a distance, they resemble chess pieces. It is quite a well-known fact that the fortification existed in the 9th century and in those times was made of wood. In 1615, Lviv castellan Mykola Danilovich built a stone two-story structure here with 4 towers. The first mention of this place dates back to the 9th century, but a stone building was raised here only in 1615. It had defensive functions. This was not a residential structure due to the fact that Tatars and Turks raided this territory very often. In addition, the castle was surrounded by the Zbruch River Canyon with a depth of 150 meters. This was an almost unsurmountable barrier for any enemies that attempted to besiege the fortress. Here's the gate, and there on that side there is a huge precipice. This elevation was surrounded by such cliffs. Only one side was connected to the city, and the river still flowed below. Thanks to this, it was formidable defense against the raids of the Turks. During these raids, the townspeople hid behind the walls of the structure. Nomads often attacked Chervonohrad in the times of Ruthenian princes and Lithuanian and Polish rulers. For almost 10 centuries, the defenders of the fortress looked out for the enemy from the tops of these monolithic towers. But even such impregnable stone fortifications could not repulse the latest siege and save the castle from destruction.
And
after that, this fortress was a ruin until 1778, when the Austrian authorities sold this town together with the fortress to Prince Karol Poninsky. He began to rebuild it. According to some sources, the cost of the project was rather impressive 550,000 guilders. This was a huge amount for those times. The heroic past of the castle ended at the beginning of the 19th century, when the fortress lost its defensive significance. Picturesque ruins inspired Prince Karol Poninsky to erect a magnificent palace. The building in the neo-Gothic style was located between two already existing towers, decorated with a castellation. Above there is a castellation that was made in Lviv workshops, brought by wagons and installed in the 1920s. It is very well preserved. The walls were very wide, and there were even spiral staircases inside. Both towers had 3 levels. Spiral staircases were built to access the higher levels. They encircled the wide piers. A heating system for the palace was also designed. Hot air from stoves on the first floor rose up through special channels and heated the entire building. This was a bathroom. Water was supplied and heated here, and the castle owners were able to take a bath. Around the castle, a luxurious park in Italian style was made with fountains and flower beds. But the First World War made adjustments to the peaceful life of the palace. Only 2 half-ruined towers remain of the once most elegant magnate palace of Poland. Shrouded in mist, they stand at the end of a single red-colored path. The mysterious silence is distributed only by the noise of the Jurinsky waterfall, reminding us of the turbulent, dramatic events of ancient times. This centuries-old oak tree was also a witness to them. Before us is an age-old oak tree, which is located on the outskirts of the Lytyachi village. It is difficult to imagine, but the tree is already 500 years old. People often come here because it keeps many secrets, many ages. Centuries have passed over its crown. It stores all these memories, and to its right runs down a path, which leads to a wonderful place on the banks of the Dniester River. From the top of the cliff near the village of Lytyachi, an incredibly picturesque view of the oddly shaped islands opens up. They look exactly like the outlines of the oriental symbol of opposites, yin and yang. They say that the island got its name for good reason. Here you can really attain inner harmony and admire the amazing scenery of the Dniester Canyon. After climbing the Red Mountain, you can see that it's really true. It is located in the Beremiany part of the Nature Reserve Park. This is the warmest place of the Dniester Canyon. On its slopes, you can encounter rare species of steppe and mountain plants even in winter.
Chervonohrad це один із схилів.
Red Mountain is one of the slopes of the Dniester Canyon, the steepness of which is about 30 degrees. It is a south-facing slope, so the temperature there at noon is extremely high in the summer.
Там піднімається дуже висока температура.
Sometimes the temperature of the slopes of the Red Mountain rises to 70 degrees Celsius. They say that a chicken egg buried in the sand gets boiled in half an hour. During the day, the stony surface of the mountain warms up, and at night it retains heat for a long time. Naturally, the snow melts very quickly as the mountain is warmed by a direct sun. Spring processes begin here still during the winter months. Climatological conditions are suitable for heat-loving species of plants and animals. Climb at 150 meters above the river, you will see how unique and diverse the flora is. No matter how much has been said about the magical Dniester Canyon, nothing can compare to seeing it with your own eyes, enjoying the cool silence, breathing in clear mountain air, feeling the blessedness with which these banks are endowed. Ahead of us will still have many exciting trips and unforgettable impressions. So come travel together with us to explore and take in all the natural and wonderfully preserved regions of undiscovered Ukraine.